Everyone, so in today's video, I'm just going to show you how I book consistent calls on my calendar. So I know the end result that most of us want is getting more calls so that we can have more leads, so that we can sell more of our product. All right, so I wanted to show you exactly how I'm doing it. So I show you a whole bunch of different strategies on YouTube on like, here's how I do it through SMS or email or Facebook or LinkedIn. But I'm just going to show you my strategies and how I do things specifically so that you can take something away from this. And for me, when I watch other people and what they do, it really helps me out a lot because I can understand their strategies and what's working for them. So I just want to do the same for you and show you what's working for me. Now, for every industry, it's different. So just because I'm doing something doesn't mean it's going to work the best for you. It might work better, or might not work as well. So I know that some people like, I know Alex Ramosi, he did like a lot of cold calling. I don't really do any cold calling. I have some clients that do just SMS campaigns and they get 10 to 16 sales calls per day just from those SMS campaigns. So it really depends on your industry and what's going to work best for you. And so I just want to give you that warning. But again, this is just to give you some ideas and hopefully help you and get you to take action on some certain things that work well for me. So anyways, I'm just going to get right into my calendar here. So this is my appointment log over the last little bit. And as you can see, most of them picked up, most of them were qualified, and most of them close. I think I have a 50-60% close rate, something like that. And we only have one really that's here that's unqualified. He showed up to the call, but just didn't have a budget, so that's about it. So, but for the most part, right, most of these are pretty good. And I'll just get right into it. So the first 8 are through Facebook. And I know that's a lot, but I get a lot of my calls through Facebook just because it's really easy for me to book calls through Facebook. It's my main channel, really. And it's really easy to set it up and forget it. Also, I'm just on Facebook a lot, so it's kind of easy to book calls through there. So again, this might be different for you, but I'll show you basically how I do my Facebook setup and campaigns. So I have a whole video on this, and it's an hour long. So if you want to watch that, you can go. It's on my YouTube channel. So, but the main thing really is I just go to Facebook. I find Facebook groups that have my target audience in them. So let's just say marketing agencies. And I want to find the people that own marketing agencies. So I go to members tab. I go to members with things in common. And then these are the people that I can really friend and send a message to saying, hey, I've got a product if you're interested. And so I just find people that say, this is a serial entrepreneur at blah, 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 blah. This is a web agency growth mentor. Let's see. Account manager, works at appointments, a co-founder. Okay, this guy's a co-founder of something. This guy's an owner of something. So I'm finding people that are owners and founders. This guy's an owner of something. So I could reach out to him, can ask him a question, send him a message. And I've already sent him a message, as you can see. And I just send about 50 messages per day with this method. And I have some automation tools that allow me to do it automatically, so I don't really have to do anything. I just click, set up the automation, and it goes. And I've got a whole video on how I do that. Also, I have a whole free course on how I do all these different methods. So if you want to check out the free course, it's in the description below. There's no upsell or anything with that. So check out the free course. Anyways, cool. So the next thing is, I just reach out to them with the target message, and I have a whole video about how I do my messages. And yeah, so that's how I do it. Usually I say, here's my direct offer. I can get you 40 sales appointments if you're interested. They say, okay, cool. And then I say, okay, yeah, this is kind of how it works. Give a little more in-depth detail about what it entails. And then I just ask qualifying questions like, who do you help or who do you target mainly? Where are you at currently? And then, from there, I just send them a link to get them to book, and we hop on a sales call. So that's how the first 8 went. So the next one is it says email, but this was really a direct mail campaign that I did. So I made a video a little while back of me trying to do a direct mail campaign just as a test, because I like testing a whole bunch of different things. And I spent about $100 in about 15 hours just building out this direct mail campaign where I'll show you an example here. But it was just a piece of mail that was like this. I'm going to move my head. It's got a address, someone's name. It's handwritten, and it's also got a wax seal on the back with a key on it. And so I put all this work into this because I thought this was going to be really cool. And then inside the letter says your key that you're missing to your marketing message, or something like that. Like the key to consistent sales. Something, I don't know, I forget. But we'll find out. And this is super. I thought this was like the coolest thing on the planet because I put a lot of work into this. And I sent this to about 80 people, but it says Here we go. Let me just make myself full screen here. Boom. The key to getting consistent qualified sales calls, I know they're probably backwards to you, but also the coolest thing is that you have this little copy here, and then they have a QR code with their picture on it so that they can scan the QR code and book a call with me. So, pretty cool. And then I have like a guarantee at the bottom, and so I really tried to make this work as much as possible, you know, the wax seal and everything. And no one really responded to my direct mail campaign. I don't think anyone really even scanned their own QR code. Like, I spent a lot of time making these QR codes, right? And no one cared. And then I did a follow-up campaign with everyone that I sent a letter to. I sent an email to them as well, a 3-email sequence, like, hey, just following up with my letter. And only a couple people responded to the 3rd email. And in that 3rd email, I booked 1 call. And so that's how that went. So I don't think it was worth it for me. I know this works for some other people. I know this guy that targets dentists. He only does like direct mail, and it works really well for him. But for me, that's my result. I got 1 call out of it, and it wasn't very good. So, and it was qualified, but then it turned into anything. So anyways, the next 8 calls are also from Facebook. That is a lot of Facebook calls, right? And it's just so easy to do. So that's why I prefer it for myself. But again, it might be different for you. But we have one here that is an inbound call. So this inbound call is cool because when people check out your profile, they're going to see your bio. And that's why I preach you should always optimize your bio to the fullest potential that you can, because when people see that you provide some sort of end result that they want, some sort of a promise or outcome or payoff that they want in their situation or their life, then they're compelled to respond to you. So if I say, hey, I help agencies get 40 sales calls per month on autopilot, and if that speaks directly to an agency owner, then it's like, hey, I need that, and then they book a call with me. So I had someone, multiple times people would reach out to me and say, hey, I read your bio, I just want to see if this is what you do. I'm really interested in what you all have to offer. So that's pretty cool. So I have inbound leads coming in just from people seeing my bio. They found me somewhere on the internet and then they saw my bio, reached out to me. And also other people, whenever you reach out to somebody and you say, hey, you know, on Facebook, let's say you reach out to 50 people a day. If they go to your profile and they don't see that your message was congruent with the message that you sent to them, then there's going to be some misstep here, and there's probably not going to, it's really hard to get people to buy on blind faith, right? So buying just because they think that you have some sort of end result. So if I have a well-established account, has a good bio, has content in there that is related to the offer that I'm giving, it's not just random memes and political posts, right? It's something that is valuable to the person that I'm reaching out to, showing that I am an authority in the space, then it's really easy to book calls that way instead of, vice versa, I guess. So having political posts that mean nothing to your target audience, and also not having a good bio, and also just showing off your ice cream that you ate today, isn't going to work as well as doing the opposite, which is having a good bio, having good posts, a good photo, And again, I talk about all that in the Facebook video. So anyways, that's that. Have a good bio. The next call here is from LinkedIn. Now, I have a few calls from LinkedIn recently, but I kind of just set up a campaign and forget it, which is pretty cool because I don't really have to think about it, and leads just kind of consistently flow in. And so Facebook, you kind of have to go in every day and set it up and forget it. But with LinkedIn, you have to, it's pretty easy because you can set it up for like 3 weeks and just forget it. So I use Wallexy, and I'll kind of show you how that works. I use this tool right here, app.wallexy.com. And it's not the highest converting campaign. It's not the best campaign, but it worked for me. Got me a few calls. I'm going to go to my campaigns here. Kind of show you what it looks like. What in the world is this? All right, cool. We have, consistently sent out about 90 messages per day, or 90 invitations per day. And then so many people responded, so many people accepted. And then it would send them a message. And the message was, let me go to my messages here. It didn't send an invitation message, so I heard from a couple LinkedIn experts, hey, you don't want to send invitation messages because it actually decreases the amount of people that accept your connection request. Then we have messages. My first message is just, hey, just curious, if I could bring you 10 qualified appointments per week, would that be of interest? And I might change that to something else, something that might sound a little more compelling. Second message is, how are things going over at company, ? And that message is really good because it's like passive aggressive. It's not like, hey, just think if you got my last message, and then, they don't really care. But it's me asking something direct, kind of being nice about it, but then it kind of reminds them that, hey, I just sent you a message before, and then usually they respond to my first message with this message right here. So pretty cool, works pretty well. Get consistent leads from there. That's LinkedIn. Facebook, 2 more calls from Facebook, but I have 1 here from Telegram. And so I don't use Telegram as a way to get leads, but I do have several groups on several different platforms on just people that are in my industry or in my market. And I always really just try to provide value and give to other people. So I have this group on Telegram that are people that do the same thing that I do. So they sell appointment setting, or they do lead generation for B2B businesses in other industries like healthcare or whatever, like the insurance. So they do pretty well, and so we all have these different strategies, and we all just try to share different things, and I try to share as much value with them as possible because I get a lot from them. And so me just posting these values in this group, people just reach out to me and they say, hey, I just saw that you did this and that and the other. Can we hop on a call? And I actually had 3 calls on Telegram. I wasn't trying to sell anything really, but 2 of those 3 calls I turned into a sale, kind of just me doing a little bit of work for them. And yeah, so I only have 1 right here, but I got 3 calls out of it. Anyways, Facebook, the next one, again, just Facebook outreach, consistent calls from there. Text message. So I don't currently run any text message campaigns. This actually came from a campaign that I ran 6 months ago. And so I ran this text message campaign, and I don't currently run text message campaigns for myself just because I get way too many calls out of it, and I really don't want to take on that many calls right now. So I just leave it be, and I just use Facebook right now because it keeps me busy. But and Facebook and LinkedIn. So this text message campaign was from a while ago, and I guess that's kind of just proves the point that you reap what you sow, but it happens long term. So you want to keep watering the grass. I guess like grass isn't greener on the other side; it's greener where you water it. So you want to keep watering the grass. And usually, what I say is that you usually don't see the fruit of your labor until about 30 days. And so usually if you're doing consistent outreach, you're going to see the fruit of your labor 30 days from now. You might not get as many people responding today, but over the course of 30 days, you're going to be like, oh, well, I see the results that happened over these 30 days, which is pretty cool. But when it comes to this, like I set this up a while ago, and if I stick to this, right, I stick this for a consistent amount of time. I didn't just, have shiny object syndrome and jump to something else, because now people are reaching back out to me from 6 months ago, from a year ago, saying, hey, can you help me with this now? And then I'm able to, I provide better results because I'm a lot better than I was a year ago or whatever, So anyways, stick to what you do. You reap what you sow. And yeah, that was a text message campaign. Anyways, next one is another Facebook call. And the next one is a YouTube call. So I've had a couple calls from YouTube right here and right here. And I'm just using YouTube as a long-term play. So I'm building it out for the long term because I'm not getting a ton of sales calls from YouTube, but long-term, I can get a ton. And so with YouTube, it's really hard to get subscribers. It's really hard to start building up a brand, but it is super, super valuable because you own this list of people that are saying, yes, I'm interested in you. They're clicking on you directly. They're finding you, and they're saying, yes, I want to subscribe. I want to see more of him. And so that's really cool. And so it's really easy to get sales calls from there long-term, but it takes a while to build up. And so my content strategy for YouTube is really just to provide as much value as I can, just give away everything for free to show you that I know what I'm talking about, because it positions me as an authority. And how life works, how everything works, is that you kind of have this scoreboard in the sky, and the scoreboard says, I gave you one, now you owe me, right? So it's like I one-upped you. And so, if you go out to eat and it's funny, the other day, we went out to eat to Chipotle with some of my friends, and I just paid for all of them. And they were like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. And so later on in the day, right, so they think that they owe me one because I one-upped them. I kind of gave value to them. And I wasn't like, I'm not looking for anything in return in this situation. I'm just like, hey, you're my friends, whatever. And later on in the day, we go on to get ice cream, and they pay for everyone because I paid for everyone earlier. And so, whenever you give, the other person feels obligated to give back. Another example is that when people, if you ever pay for the person behind you in a drive-through, then that person behind you usually pays for the person behind them, and it just keeps going, because they feel like, oh, well, someone provided value to me. I feel like I have to give back in some way. And so, anyways, I just thought of something funny. But yeah, I just give as much as I can to you, just because in return you feel like you owe me one. Not because I'm trying to get you to owe me one, but I want to be your number one trusted resource in terms of being able to book more sales calls. Anyways, that's a long-term play, and I'm building out YouTube, and I'm also building out a Facebook group on this exact same strategies and how I do things. And if you want to join my Facebook group, it's in the link in the description below. I have a little more in-depth stuff on there, or provide a little bit more. It's just I can post more on there. So yeah, that's that. Next one is also from Facebook. Again, I just get consistent calls through Facebook. Next one is from Skool. Skool is another community that I use. Like I said, I had a couple of different platforms that I use just to provide value. So it's, you have Facebook and you have YouTube, like the big ones, but Telegram, there's just a group smaller on there that just has 100 people that I just kind of provide value to. Skool is another one where there's a group in here. It's called a Consulting Accelerator. It's a course that I bought a while ago. People in here are really cool, and I provide a lot of value here, and so people just reach out to me. I try not to do I don't really do sales. I don't push anything really on YouTube or on this group or on Telegram. I don't really push anything, and people just naturally come to me because they see me as the authority. I gave them value, Anyways, so that's another one. Facebook, again, another one that was inbound, which is cool. So someone that found me. And then text message. Again, I think, this is Facebook follow-up 4 months later. Okay, yeah, this is actually pretty cool because this was another one that a guy, he was really cool dude, and I remember the sales call because I took a ton of them, but I remember this guy specifically, and he followed up with me and said, hey, we're ready to get started, and so now we're getting started on his campaign, which he did just close. So I'm just going to mark that as closed, and so anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. Again, you can use these strategies in what you do. Another thing I learned today is that it's a proven fact that the more you touch with somebody, the more that you follow up with them, the more sales that you're going to get, the more sales calls that you're going to get, right? So the more content that you reach out to or give to them, more emails that you send, the more text messages that you send, even though it might seem like overbearing to the other person, you actually get more sales calls out of it. So I remember Grant Cardone said that he had an event, whatever, the 10X event, and out of that event, 40% of the people that were in the event were unsubscribed from his email list because he sent too many emails. So it's pretty interesting that half the people that are there are just already kind of annoyed from the content that they get, but they're willing to invest because he provides so much and he gives so much to other people. So anyways, I'm going to give as much as I can to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.